How's everybody doing today? This week's video gonna be going over the character creation of the StarFolk game. This is for the Explorer, so you've got a couple different characters. Most of them are going to operate as NPCs, but the Explorer, that's the avatar for you in the game. So you've got you, the Explorer. The ship is basically an NPC. The AI is an NPC, and then your drones are NPC, and of course, anything you may or may not come across. So today we're gonna just jump right into character creation. Okay, here's the steps of character creation. You pick your name, your background, assign attributes, select specialties, determine genetic adaptations, define your personal goal, and then you write your first journal entry. Okay, so first one is, what are you going to call yourself? 10,000 years have passed since humanity first reached the stars. Languages have changed. And I talk a lot of different things here as to, why names may have changed, what the names are. But you're going to pick your name, and truthfully, it can be anything you want. So what you're looking at here is an online version I made of the character sheet that should elevate when the game is available. So the Explorer, I'm going to call him Gar. Okay, you can name your person anything you want. Choose your background. Okay, so before becoming an Explorer, you devoted years to a particular field of study. So these are basically the main classifications of the game, and it gives you a couple of your starting skills. Within the game, you can use any skill, but how well you use it is based on whether you've practiced it and or been trained in it. So xenobiologist, you've got biology, botany, zoology, planetary geologist, geology, mining, chemistry, systems engineer, engineering, fabrication, robotics, okay? Physician is medicine, biology, chemistry. Survey specialist is navigation, observation, survival. Cultural specialist, think of that as like a anthropologist. You've got linguistics, diplomacy, anthropology, flight specialist, piloting, navigation, engineering, and a generalist, you gain a +5 in any 5 skills you want. So you choose one of these. I am going to go with survey specialist. Okay, so we go back to the character sheet and we put that there. And so now we come in here and you get +2 navigation. So let's come down, and do we see navigation in the list? Nope, so we'll put navigation here. And make that a 2. What's the next one? Observation. Is it in the default list? Nope. And what is it? Is it that's a +2. And what's that one? Survival. And that's a +1. Oh, go down, sorry. My hands don't work that good, so we'll save this. Okay. Step 3, assign attributes. So you don't roll. Those are your attributes you got. You distribute them among your body, mind, awareness, engineering, presence, and resolve. Okay. So you got 1 5, 2 4s, 2 3s, and a 2. You can roll them if you want. You can just make them whatever you want. This is your game. It's a solo game. So if you want to be an uber power character, who cares? But to me, the weakness a lot of times brings the fun in the game. So let's come to body. We'll make the body our 2. And we'll make mind one of our 4s. We'll make awareness one of our 3s. We'll make engineering our 5. And we'll make resolve a 4. And we'll make presence a 3. Okay, so like say if you're going to be lifting a rock, that would be a body roll, and you have a DC, it's a DC based system. So say the DC based on the weight of the rock is going to be a 15. Well, you would add 2 to your roll. Okay. If you have a skill, if it's something that requires a skill, say you're going to be fixing a bug in a computer programming, well, you would say, well, I'm going to use my mind, or I'm going to use my engineering knowledge, so that would give you the plus. And then you would also add the plus for your skill, Okay. Step 4. Scientific specialties. Okay, so you get to choose 3. Each one begins at a +2. So let's just make it quick. So again, let's say medicine. Let's say survival. Let's add piloting. And there you go. We chose 3. Now, genetic adaptations, right? So it says here 3, but that's wrong. Let's highlight that. It's actually, you just choose 1 adaptation. I think it's appendix. Let's go down. Yeah. So you've got aquatic adaptation. It gives you these benefits. You've got low gravity adaptation. It gives you these benefits. High gravity adaptation gives you these benefits: night vision, thermal, radiation, atmospheric, immune, toxic environment, enhanced vision, enhanced hearing, enhanced taste and smell, enhanced dexterity, enhanced memory, enhanced spatial awareness, photosynthetic, bioluminescent adaptation, echolocation, regeneration. So I'm going to go with symbiotic skin. And you got rare adaptations. And in the second release of the book, we're going to have all kinds of additional adaptations. And then you just pop these in there in your little character sheet. Okay, we're cranking along. And now here's your personal goal. So every explorer has a reason for venturing into unknown space. This goal belongs to you, not necessarily to your civilization. Examples are discover new life, finding a legendary world, recovering a lost expedition, become the greatest explorer in history, map unexplored sectors, blah, blah, blah. And these will kind of change. Like if yours is map unexplored sectors, well, you're going to probably, your goal will be to visit as many sectors as possible. So you may spend less time on actual planets, right? If it's uncover the truth behind an ancient mystery, then that's going to be what you're kind of looking for, right? Seek knowledge forbidden by your people. Build something that will outlive you. So if that's yours, maybe what you would do is you would focus on building colonies and things like that, right? And you can make that as big or as little as you want. Step 7, vitality. So health measures, so everybody gets 10 health. That's what you start with. See, that's already filled out. Stress, everyone begins with 10 stress. Right, stress measures your explorer's mental and emotional resilience. 10 stress, but the stress track also contains 12 spaces. So basically, this will be a checklist, but certain medications will increase your max. So think of this as your maximum stress. So if something is happening and that's a low stress level, say, a bolt needs to be tightened, well, that's like not going to be stressful in one stress. But if you're in a stressful situation, it's going to basically say you're attacking a monster, that's going to be high stress, okay? And if it reaches its current, it becomes overwhelmed. So kind of you're looking to lower your stress, right? So you don't want to be increasing it. So if you spend time resting, recovering, or working with their companion before continuing your mission. One of the reasons you start with 10 stress is you were just kicked out of the parent ship, okay? You were just booted out. Your whole life now, you spent 27 years in a ship with shipmates and robots in a community. And within that community, it's a certain lifestyle. Now it's you, your ship, and your AI, and whatever you can make out alone in the universe, doing, trying to expand the knowledge of the StarFolk, but also trying to meet your own personal goals. So that's kind of stressful when you first start, okay? And then recovery. At the end of any rotation spent resting aboard your ship or another set, you recover 1 health or remove 1 stress. So each rotation, you can bring one of your stress down, or you can recover 1 of your vitality points. So say you have a permanent injury and that takes 3 away from your vitality points, right? So now you're at 7. If you get to 0, you're dead. So now you could heal back some of that, okay? And then you basically do your first journal entry. Before your first mission, open your journal, it's broken. My indexes, sectors, planets, flora, fauna, blueprint. So I'll do like a daily log as to what I've done in the game. And if I visit a sector, I'll go and I'll write that sector down in the book. And then I'll catalog each planet I find, what it's like, map it back to the sector. And so this becomes like my travel and my scientific journal. You can use a Word document. That's what I've done for some of the playthroughs of the game. And that's how you start. A big part of playing the game is, here you are, you got to think, I'm in space. I just got dropped here. I got my AI. I got my ship. Well, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to scan this sector, right? Because the parent ship is just going out into places that, is unknown in the universe. You got kicked out. You got booted out every so often, because you're kind of grown on the ship. They drop off another, explorer. So what's the first thing? I'm going to scan my sector. Maybe I'm going to move to another sector. But I scan my sector. And the first thing you scan is, what kind of sun is it? Well, based on that, you then say, well, what kind of planets or planetary bodies do I have? And then I can say, okay, and I will catalog that in my journal. If I build something in the fabricator, I document that I built something in the fabricator. If I had an interesting conversation with my AI, I'll document that in the journal. So my time units are broken into a time unit, which will be represented by a blue dice, a cycle, which is 10 time units, that's a green dice, You've got a rotation, which are 10 cycles, and then errors. So each one, it's 10 units make a cycle, 10 cycle makes a rotation, 10 rotations make an error. Think of time as really as money in the game. You've got a limited amount of time within the game, and you have to determine what's the best way to use it. Okay? I hope you enjoy what you're seeing, and that you have a great day. Bye-bye.